Alright, what's up guys? VV back with another video. And in today's video, guys, we're going to be going over the OP10 red cards. Okay, so no need for a long introduction. We're going to hop straight into this. I will have everything time-stamped in the general description. I'll have all relevant deck lists and links down in the comment section below. And all that good stuff, guys. You know the drill. One more thing I will say before we get into it is at the end of the video, I do have 2 games of green-yellow Arlong. For the people who don't really care about the spoilers, you can just hop straight to the end of the video and watch some green-yellow Arlong action. Just got 2 quick games on there of that. Okay, now let's go ahead and get into this, guys. Let's dive into it. You know what you're getting into. So, OP10, going over the red cards. First up, we got Vergo. This is a 1-cost, 2,000 power, 1K counter, Punk Hazard, Navy, Don Quixote, Pirates type character. He has 3 different types there. And his effect is on play. Okay, it's a top 5 searcher. On play, look at 5 cards from the top of your deck, reveal up to 1 Punk Hazard type card other than Vergo and add it to your hand. Then place the rest at the bottom of your deck in any order. So I am going to go ahead and rate all these cards, guys. That is something I like to do, is kind of give you guys an idea of what I think, how strong a card is in a vacuum. Between, I like to judge it on, or rank it, rate it on 1 to 10. 10 being very good, 1 being not so good. 5 being very average. Well, I mean, honestly, for a searcher, this is very average, but I still give searchers a higher grade than average. Because when I think of averages, I'm thinking of vanilla characters. So in other words, what would you rather have? A 1-cost, 3,000 power, 1,000 counter vanilla character, or lose 1,000 power to do a top 5 search? And I think 99% of people, would say we'll take the 1-cost 2K. 1-cost 2,000 power character that can do a top 5 search for whatever type I'm looking up. So I'm going to give this a 7 or a 7.5 out of 10. That's what I give all searchers of this caliber. Okay, next up we got Sanji. That does not look like Sanji. This is a 3-cost, 3,000 power character with a 1K counter. It has Punk Hazard, Straw Hat Crew for the types. And it has 2 effects here. On your turn, this character gains plus 3,000 power. Guys, that is, excuse me, that is pretty strong. And then on KO, draw a card. Okay, yeah, your turn. Okay, guys, if you follow this channel, Red Yellow Sabo is my main deck. Of course, I'm going to be thinking about that with every red card we see today. And this is a nice card, guys. I have to say, this is a really strong card for my Red Yellow Sabo deck. No, I'm just kidding. But seriously, in general, this is a strong card. It's a 3-cost, 3K, which, yeah, okay, it is going to be easier for your opponent to take it out before it actually gets the chance to swing. But guess what? On KO, draw 1 card. So unless, other than bottom decking or bouncing back to hand, sure, KO the card if you want to. That's not the best outcome, but I am going to get to draw a card to compensate. I think this card is at least a 7.5 out of 10. I understand it will be easier to take out defensively. Say I play this card out, 3 cost, 3,000 power, 1K counter character. Let's say I play it out on turn 2, and then, I get to attack with it for 6, which is very strong, or 7. Attach 1 Dawn, swing for 7. Very, very powerful. And then, now when they go to attack into my character, it will be a lot easier for them to KO the character, right? However, who cares? It will have done its damage, and it's going to replace itself by drawing a card. The only downside of this card is if they remove it with, like a non-KO effect, like trashing it or bottom decking it. That's the only downside. So I'm actually going to give this card like an 8 out of 10. This card is... There's basically no downside. The only downside is if you're trying to keep a body on the board, it's not going to be great at that. Even if you have the leader, Smoker, even if you have Smoker as your leader, the new red-green one. Let's go back real quick. I'll show you guys. I have already gone over all the leaders. I will link that video in the comment section below. Be sure to check that out if you want to know what I think about the leaders in OP10. But even if you have this leader where all your Navy and Punk Hazard cards are plus 1,000 power on your opponent's turn, this is still just a 4,000 power character. So, not really great. It is defendable in certain situations if they want to get greedy and swing for 5 and develop a character on curve. Okay, we can 2K counter to save it in that situation, but it's still, it's highly unlikely. And at that point, do I want to use a 2K counter on this character? Depends on the situation. but I'd almost rather just let it go and I get a draw card. But I'm going to give this an 8 out of 10, guys. Very little downside to this card. It may be realistically should be like an 8.5 out of 10. You guys tell me what y'all think in the comment section below. Next card. Okay, this is the same card, but alternate art. Looks really, really good. I'm a big fan of this one. Look at the little pin on her head of like Sanji. And it's called Sanji. I'm sure this has something to do with the story. If I have to guess, guys, and just from the little bit I know about One Piece, it seems like there's been a body swap here, right? Because I think that was the whole thing with Punk Hazard. I don't know, like, again, not that I know about Punk Hazard in the actual story. I'm talking about Punk Hazard with the theme when we look back at Smoker. It's like, okay, clearly this is Tashigi, right? I think this is Tashigi, but in wait, this is Smoker in Tashigi's body. Very fun, good stuff. You guys be nice, but I think that's what's going on here if I had to guess. You guys tell me in the comment section below if you even care to. It doesn't matter to me either way. Okay, so next up we have Caesar Clown. Okay, we got a big character here. This is a 7-cost, 7,000 power character with Scientist Punk Hazard for its types. The effect is on play. Look at 5 cards from the top of your deck. Reveal up to 1 Smiley and add it to your hand. Then place the rest at the bottom of your deck in any order and play up to 1 Smiley from your hand. Okay. Excuse me. So that's potentially very powerful. And it's also a card that can get even stronger in the future, right? So in other words, the more cards called Smiley that they print, the more potential this card gets, right? So I think this is like a very solid, I guess I'm going to stick with the theme here. I think this is a very solid 7 out of 10. Because it will always depend on you having the amount of Smileys you need in your deck that you can search up and play them out. However, this is still a 7-cost 7K body with quite a bit of potential upside, but it does not have an encounter. It is a 7-cost card, and guys, 7 cost in red in particular, you're dealing with, depending on the deck you're running, these are some of the 7-cost options. You have 7-cost Ace, you have 7-cost Newgate, and now we also have 7-cost Ben Beckman. And it's like, that's a tough 7-cost spot to compete with. And that's not to say this is a bad card. I don't think this is a bad card. But at the same time, it's in a cost slot that a lot of really powerful other cards are there in this color that already are trying to take that 7-cost slot. And on top of that, how many Smiley cards exist in the game currently? I mean, guys, in the background, I'm just going to bring this up real quick. Let me see something. You guys won't be able to see it super well. I'll just take the overlay off for a second. So, like, if I type in, let me just type in Smiley. And then I'll just go through every one of them. Whoops. So, currently, I mean, we'll see. This is one card from OP10. We'll look at it, I guess, once we get to it. It looks like there's only 1, maybe 2 Smileys, or it looks like there's 2 or maybe a few more different Smileys in the game, and that is the one limiting factor of that card. And I know some people might be thinking, like, oh, well, what about Holy, right? Holy, or Ohm, excuse me. Hang on a second, let me type like this. Okay, some people might be thinking, like, well, yeah, Ohm can only search up 1 dog, right? The dog Holy. It's like, yeah, but this is a 4-cost 5K. So you're playing it down much earlier in the game. And listen to the potential upside of this card. This is a 4-cost 5K with a 1K counter. And it has, if you have 2 or less life, this character gains plus 1,000 power. So this is like potentially a 4-cost 6K, 1K counter vanilla with the chance to snag Holy and play it out from your hand. Whereas when we go back to the other card we were just looking at, let me go back to that real quick. Yeah, this one. Here we go. Let me go sim overlay, or excuse me, spoiler. There we go. When you look at this card, this is a 7-cost 7,000 power character. Remember, Ohm is a 4-cost 5K. This is a 7-cost 7K with no counter. And it doesn't have any other potential. It only has the ability to do a top 5 search and reveal up to 1 Smiley and add it to your hand. Then place the rest at the bottom of your deck in any order. And then play up to 1 Smiley from your hand. So you can use it in the same way that you would use Ohm. Where it's like, okay, I'm going to, you know, say you already have Smiley in your hand. Do a top 5 search. You might get another Smiley, or you might whiff. But you have the other Smiley, so you can just play it straight from your hand, the one that you already had in hand. So, I mean, I still think I'm going to give this a 7 out of 10 because it will always depend on the cards that it's cheating out. And on top of that, it doesn't have a 1K counter. It doesn't have any other potential upside. It will always depend, right? It'll always depend on what kind of Smileys we can include in the deck. Okay, next up we have Caesar Soldier. This is a 3-cost, 4,000 power, 1K counter. When I see that stat line, I immediately think blocker. But all right, let's see what this one does. This is a Punk Hazard character with the effect of on play up to 1 Punk Hazard type character card with a cost of 2 or less from your hand. Okay, we'll have to see what all options pop up in the future. On paper, I think this is like a 6 out of 10. It's a little bit under curve, being a 3-cost 4K instead of a 3-cost 5K like a vanilla would be. However, it does have a potentially solid effect, you know, a pretty good tempo type of effect. In fact, Vergo is Punk Hazard, right? Yes, so Vergo is a card you'd be able to cheat out with Caesar Soldier. Like, say you say you don't get Vergo in your opening hand, so, okay, and say you get to go first, it's like, all right, turn 1 pass. But then it's like turn 2, we're about to drop Caesar Soldier, but we top deck a Vergo. And then it's like, oh, okay, well, at least I get to play this card out and still get tempo with the Vergo. I don't know. I'm just saying it's a possibility, right? There's an option there. So I do think this is like a 6 out of 10. I don't think this is crazy or anything, but I think it's better than running just a vanilla in the place of it. Okay, and we'll have to keep our eyes open for 2-cost or lower Punk Hazard cards. I guess like the next one we just got a glance at. Scotch. This is a 2-cost, 1,000 power, 1K counter Punk Hazard type character. Excuse me. It has blocker. On play, if you don't have rock, play up to 1 rock from your hand. Hopefully it's the next card. It's not. So we got to remember rock, guys. We got to remember to come back to rock. Or come back to Scotch when we get to rock. But this is a 2-cost, 1,000 power, 1K counter blocker. Okay, so already this is a pretty good card, and it's Punk Hazard, of course. This is already a pretty decent card to play out with Caesar Soldier. That's pretty nice. That has some potential there, guys. Going very wide on the board very early. And we'll have to remember this card right here. On play, if you don't have rock, play up to 1 rock from your hand. Okay, that could be really strong tempo if you go Caesar Soldier into Scotch into rock. Okay, all right, we'll keep that in mind as we go through it. But other than that, guys, this is just a nice 5 out of 10. I guess it's a 5.5 out of 10 because this is just like, so the standard stat line you see for a 2-cost blocker in this game is 2-cost, 2,000 power, 1K counter with blocker. That is a very standard stat line you see across the board in any color and any types. Now, this one loses 1,000 power, but it gets the potential to cheat out another character. So I'll give it a little bit stronger than an average score. I'll just give it like a 5.5 or maybe a 6 out of 10. Okay? Okay, so here's a Smiley. So let's keep this in mind with the 7-cost Caesar Clown card we just saw, because you're going to do a top 5 search, and then I guess you're going to snag this Smiley card, and then you're going to be able to play it out with the Caesar Clown's effect. It is a 5-cost 6K, 1K counter. It is a biological weapon, Punk Hazard type. That's pretty cool. Biological weapon. I like that. The effect is on play if your leader has the Punk Hazard type. Give up to one of your opponent's characters minus 3,000 power during this turn. Okay. And is it the new Smoker? I just want to see something real quick, guys. I know Caesar Clown is Punk Hazard. Even Smoker, the new Smoker leader, even that is Punk Hazard. Are all of the red? No, all the red except Sugar are Punk Hazard for the leaders. Okay, so think of it. All right, so let's try to imagine what this could look like. So on turn 4, right? Because turn 4 would be 7 Dawn if we go first, 8 Dawn if we go second, right? 1, 3, 5, 7, yep, or 2, 4, 6, 8. So on turn 4, let's say we're going first. We drop down Caesar Clown, which is a 7-cost 7K. That's a big character. And then we end up cheating. And then let's say we find a Smiley in our top 5 and play it out. Okay, so we played out a 7-cost 7K and a 5-cost 6K. Seems good. Like, that's a very high tempo play. That has a lot of potential. And this card is even a 1K counter. This card even has a 1K counter on it where it's not even dead in your... It's never dead in your hand because you can counter out with it. And then the on play is if your leader has the Punk Hazard type, give up to one of your opponent's characters minus 3,000 power during this turn. Okay, so bear with me. Hear me out for a second. I think maybe part of the idea that Bandai's going for is you're going to play out a card like Smiley. Okay, hang on. All right, so, well, see, we need the Dawn ×2 effect. That's what really complicates things. But let's say we have, yeah, see, the Dawn ×2 is what really complicates things. Because otherwise, think about this. If we could just, when attacking, return a Punk Hazard type character with a cost of 2 or more to the owner's hand, and then KO a 4,000 power character or less. With Smiley, now we're popping 7,000 power characters, and we can pull them back to our hand and recycle the on-play effect. Sorry, we're doing a bunch of jumping around, guys. Bear with me. Yeah, this has a lot of potential. I actually like this card a lot. I almost like this card better than the Caesar Clown 7-cost character that cheats it out. Okay, I gave that one a 7 out of 10. I gave the Caesar Clown 7 out of 10. This is at least a 7 out of 10 for me because it's a 5-cost 6k, 1k counter, so it's literally 1,000 power off being vanilla. But listen to the on-play effect that it gets. If your leader has the Punk Hazard type, which is that's the deck you'd be running this in, give up to one of your opponent's characters minus 3,000 power for the turn. I feel like that has a lot of potential, guys. I'm gonna give this a 7.5 out of 10. It's nothing insane, but this is a very strong card, and if you're using this with your leader, you're going to be able to pop, you know, think about it. If it's a 5,000 power character and you play this out and you're trying to swing into it with your leader, you play this out first for the on-play, and now you're swinging into a 2,000. If they had a 7,000 power character and you play this out, it's dropping down to 4,000. So I do think this effect is very, very strong, and you're going to be able to pull it back with your leader effect, and when you do pull it back, you can... if you need to, you can then use it as a counter if you're not going to have a chance to use it on the next turn. Very strong card. I'm going to give this a 7.5 out of 10, guys. I really like the design behind this card and that new leader, Caesar Clown. Okay. I have to do one more example. I'm sorry, guys. We have to do one more example. So let's say it's a 9 Dawn turn. 9 Dawn turn, right? And say we have Caesar Clown in hand, and say we have a Smiley already in hand. So we can literally play out the Caesar Clown to cheat out the Smiley, and then attach the remaining 2 Dawn to our leader, swing in for 7,000 power, pulling back the Smiley, and then KOing a, basically what, 3,000 plus 4? Popping a 7,000 power character or less. And then we get the Smiley back to our hand, and we can keep recycling that from that point on with the leader, Caesar Clown. There might be some potential there, guys. I cannot wait to mess with some of these leaders on the sim. As soon as they're up, as soon as this is all updated, I will definitely be trying it out. Okay, so 7.5 out of 10 for Smiley. Okay, next up we have Chadros Hegeligus Brownbeard. I'm not sure how to say that, guys. Hegeligus is what the last name looks like. So 3 cost, 5,000 power, Punk Hazard Brownbeard Pirates. Okay, not Blackbeard, but Brownbeard Pirates. The effect is, when attacking, if you have 1 or less character with 6,000 power or more, this character gains plus 1,000 power during this turn. If you have 1 or less character with 6,000 power or more. I don't like the way that's worded. But let's just pretend you have 1 character with 6,000 power or more and then nothing else is. I guess you can buff him up to 6,000. Hang on. If you have 1 or less characters with 6,000 power or more, this character gains plus 1,000 power during this turn. So does that count himself? I'm a little confused by that, by the wording here. I mean, he is a character. So if he, like, say, I guess what I'm trying to say is if you attach a Dawn to him to try to swing for 7,000, he's the only character that can be 6,000 power or more in that situation, right? I believe so. You guys tell me if I'm off on that. I'm not a huge fan of this one. I'm just going to give this like a flat 5 out of 10 because it's a 3-cost 5k body like a vanilla, but it does have a 1k counter. It's giving up that 1k counter for the ability to potentially be a 6,000 power attacker. But if you have any other characters on the board that are 6,000 power or more, then, you know, because it says if you have 1 or less characters, not 1 or more characters. Very strange wording. All right, let's keep going. I'm going to give this a 5 out of 10. Okay, we have Tony Chopper here, a 4-cost, 4,000 power, 2k counter. That does not look like Tony Chopper, but again, like I said, I'm starting to pick up on the pattern with a lot of the Punk Hazard stuff I've seen. It's like not what it's supposed to be. Like, this looks like Sanji, obviously, but it's Tony Chopper. Strange. Okay, so Punk Hazard, Straw Hat Crew type. 2K counter. Okay, 4 cost, 4,000 power, 2K counter with blocker. And on your opponent's turn, this character gains plus 2,000 power. I think this is a S tier 2K counter, guys. A 4 cost. This is a 4 cost 6K blocker. And it's a 2K counter in hand. It's only a 4 cost 4,000 power attacker. But literally, who cares, right? I'm going to give this like a 9 out of 10. This is a super high utility 2K counter. There is no real downside to this card. Because you're getting a 4 cost 4,000 power body with a 2K counter. I'm already happy with that stat line. I mention this all the time. The 5 cost 5,000 power 2K counter stat line is one of my favorites in the game. So this is the same thing, but it's a 4 cost 4K instead. And it has blocker. And it's a 2K. This character gains plus 2,000 power on the opponent's turn. So think about this card in a smoker deck. This would be a 4 cost 7,000 power blocker on your opponent's turn. Right? Let me check one more time to make sure I'm not crazy here, guys. I know we're doing a lot of flipping around. Y'all bear with me. All of your Navy or Punk Hazard type characters gain plus 1,000 power. Yeah, I'm sorry. That seems pretty good, guys. This one, I'm going to give this a 9 out of 10. This is such a high quality 2K counter utility card that there's just no downside. I think you just run it no matter what. Even if your leader's not Punk Hazard, like where you can get the effect of like Smoker, I mean. Even if your leader's not Smoker, it doesn't matter. This is a 4 cost, 4,000 power 2K counter blocker. And it's a 4 cost, 6,000 power 2K counter blocker. That's the way that I see it. Incredible. Okay. Next up, we have Dragon number 13. Okay, we got some numbers to the Dragon tier. 2 cost, 2,000 power, 1K counter blocker. I mentioned this earlier. This is an absolutely standard, generic blocker stat line. And this is a biological weapon, Punk Hazard, searchable character blocker. I'm just going to give it a 5 out of 10. Honestly, it probably should be like a 6 or a 6.5 out of 10 just because it has blocker on there. Okay, Nami. What on earth? This doesn't look like Nami. So this is a 5 cost, 7,000 power, 1K counter, vanilla Punk Hazard Straw Hat Crew character. We're going to give this a 5 out of 10. So guys, whenever it comes down to there being a vanilla card, it's just going to be a 5 out of 10. Vanilla meaning it's a 5 cost. How do I say this? The cost, whenever it comes to a vanilla card, here's how the stats go. Whatever the cost is, you add 2 to that and then multiply it by 1,000, and that is what it is, right? So in other words, this is a 5 cost character. Okay, so add 2 to it is 7, and then multiply it by 1,000, and you get 7,000, and that is the standard formula for a vanilla character in the game. And then they have a 1K counter on them because they have no effect. So 5 out of 10 seems good. Okay, Frankie. Okay, 6 cost, 8,000 power, 1K counter, animal Punk Hazard, Straw Hat Crew type. This is a vanilla 5 out of 10. Mocha, 3 cost, 3,000 power, 2K counter, Punk Hazard type. The effect is on play. Give up to one of your opponent's characters minus 1,000 power during this turn. Okay, Punk Hazard. Yep, 3 cost, 3K. I guess this is meant to combo with your what's his name, Caesar Clown. Look how small Chopper looks in this picture, guys. I don't know if this is like something going on in the lore, but she looks like a giant, or in this picture is Chopper like reduced in size, like shrunk. I don't know. But I will say this. This effect, we have to compare it to other things we know. And I understand people are going to say like, yeah, but you know, this is meant to combo with Caesar Clown like we were just talking about. I get it. But we have 1 cost characters that are 2K counters like Otama that minus 2,000. We have 2 cost characters like Koala that are 2 cost 3,000 power characters with 2K counters that do minus 3,000. So why is it then that this card is a 3 cost 3,000 power 2K counter that does minus 1,000? I get it. This is meant to go hand in hand with the leader effect. I get that part. That's not lost on me. However, it's also not relevant to me either because this is extremely understated for what it's doing. Like this could have at that rate, I think this could have been just turn it into a 2 cost 3K then and really have it be the full value card that is built around the leader's effect. Because remember, guys, the leader effect for Caesar Clown you return back a 2-cost or greater character. So why not make this card a literally make it a 2-cost character? Sorry guys, we're doing a lot of flipping through today. Why not make this a 2-cost character so that it's perfectly statted in line with the leader effect so you can get full value on your turns? Why not make it a 2-cost 3K that does minus 1,000? Because like I said, we already know that there's a 2-cost 3K that does minus 3,000 in the form of Koala, and a 1-cost 0,000 or 0 power card in Otama that can do minus 2,000. I just really think this card should have been statted like this. I think they should have made a 2-cost, 2,000 power, 2K counter on play, minus 2,000. That's what I think. I'm not happy with this one, but I will say this: it is a 2K counter and it has utility. So bare minimum, I'm going to give it as a 7 out of 10. For the way that I do stats, guys, a 2K counter is usable and has utility in every single deck in One Piece. So anytime a card is a 2K counter, they start at a 7. They start at a 7 out of 10 on my like, you know, my rating system. So 7 out of 10 for this one. Okay, next up we have Monet. This is a 2-cost, 3,000 power, 1K counter. Punk Hazard, Don Quixote Pirates type. Really cool art. I like the art on this one quite a bit. I really like how they did the clouds and everything with the wings. Really good stuff on this. I'm actually a big fan of this composition. Okay, the effect is activate main. You may rest this character and give up to 2 rested Dawn cards to your leader or one of your characters. Okay, now we're talking. So this is like the effect I thought we needed for the leader. Very good. So rest this character, give up to 2 rested Dawn cards to your leader or one of your characters. Then give up to one of your opponent's characters minus 1,000 power during this turn. Very nice. Now we're talking. Very nice. Big fan of this one. So this is like a 7.5 out of 10. This is a card that single-handedly turns the leader effect on, where it's like, okay, I'll play this card out. I'll play this card out. I will activate it, attaching 2 Dawn to my leader, and then minus 1,000 power to a character, and then I will swing with my leader, pulling this card back to my hand, and popping a 5,000 power character or less, while swinging for 7,000. Big fan of this card, very strong. And here's the other thing to pay attention to. I don't know if I said the types, by the way. It's Punk Hazard and Don Quixote Pirates. And it's a 2-cost 3K, 1K counter. Like, those stats are fine. But what it's doing is the star of the show, right? This is not locked to a leader. It says you may rest this character and give up to 2 rested Dawn cards to your leader or one of your characters, and then give up to one of your opponent's characters minus 1,000 power during this turn. Of course, you guys know where I'm going with this, okay? I mean, I'm sure most people know where I'm going with this. I'm thinking Red, Yellow, Sabo immediately. This character is the Galaxy Wink effect. It's giving 2 rest... Well, it's giving... Okay, Galaxy Wink just gives plus 2,000 to a character. But you can give up to 2 rested Dawn cards to a character or a leader, and then give minus 1,000 power to one of your opponent's characters for the turn. Seems good, guys. It just seems so nice. Yeah, I'm a huge fan of this one. 7.5 out of 10. I love how it's not leader locked. Oh, wow. Look at the alt art for this one. Really cool. Which one do I like better? That's the real question. I actually like the alt art better. Guys, I don't always like the alt arts better, but in this situation, as much as I like this composition, like I was saying, this one's pretty good as well. I like this attack going downward at us. You know, that's really nice. Anyway, okay, let's keep going. Okay, we finally get to Rock. Rock is a 2-cost, 3,000 power, 1K counter. Punk Hazard, on play if you don't have Scotch, play up to 1 Scotch from your hand. Okay, so this is a 2-cost 3K. So I guess there's potential. Hear me out, guys. Going first. Let's say we go first, right? Play out our guy, the 1-cost searcher. So Vergo, do a top 5 search. Search up for one of the pieces I'm about to say. So going first, turn 1 Vergo. And then turn 2, Caesar Soldier, play up to 1 Punk Hazard type character at the cost of 2 or less. Play out Scotch, which then plays out the Rock. That is really cool, guys. So it'd be like, I mean, the characters are very small, but at the same time, that's probably going to be very necessary for what the deck is doing, because if you think about it, like, the leader has to keep pulling these cards back from the board to do the effect. So being able to, like, I think this card's actually a really strong one. because it's going to be like, okay, play this out, maybe cheat out Scotch, which is a blocker, really solid. But here's the thing: next turn, if it survives, attach 2, swing 5, leader effect. You know, attach 2 to the leader, swing for 7. Excuse me, guys. Just breathe down the wrong pipe there. Bear with me. Swing for 7. Pull this card back, and then gosh, that was ridiculous, guys. Give me a second to drink a sip of my water. Okay, we're okay. We're fine. It's dangerous, guys. This is a dangerous job here. Just talking in front of my monitor at my house. You know, content creation's a dangerous job, I guess. But no, seriously, guys. My apologies. Sorry about that. So back to my example. Rock here. So let's just say we have like a 5 or 6 dawn turn. Attach 2 to this guy, swing for 5. Attach 2 to our leader, swing for 7. Pull this guy back and pop a 4,000 power character or less. Or anything else we could have subtracted it by with other effects on the board. And that just seems like a very solid play. I really like what they're doing for Caesar Clown, but we'll have to see how it pans out. Maybe someone has to break the list. Maybe no one's figured it out yet. There's a lot of potential, though, because the leader has KO built into it, and it's based on power, not cost. That was one of the biggest problems with Sakazuki. Well, first of all, Sakazuki wasn't returning characters to your hand. He was trashing cards from your hand. And I'm talking about STs. I got to bring that up real quick, guys. Give me just a second. Get us all set up here. Let me take the overlay off again. So I don't know who all remembers this leader from ST06. But this leader right here, it had KO built into the leader effect. But here's the problem. It was an activate main once per turn, pay 3, and listen to what it KOs, guys. You may trash 1 card from your hand. Okay, first of all, that's ridiculous. You're paying 3 and trashing a card from your hand to pop a character that costs 0. So that would be like Caesar Clown attaching 2 Dawn to it, swinging for 7. Actually, not even attaching 2, right? It would be like Caesar Clown being a red-blue leader that pays 3 and then trashes a card from hand to pop a character that has 0 power. It's just, like, why would you ever run that? You know what I mean? And that was one of the big problems with this leader. Now, getting back to what we were just looking at, when it comes to Caesar Clown, the actual leader, I think they really learned from their mistakes with this one, because you're returning a card to your hand, so you're getting extra potential value later, and you're not popping a 0 power character, right? You're popping a 5,000 or a 4,000 power character. So there is definitely some potential here. Okay, let's keep going, guys. I think we're almost done. I think we're about to be on the events. So let me go ahead and give a rating to Rock and Scotch. I would give those like 6 out of 10s. They're nothing crazy. They are a way to generate extra tempo. So I'd give them like a 6 or a 6.5 out of 10. Not too bad. 10-layer Igloo. 10-layer Igloo. This is a 2-cost Punk Hazard Don Quixote Pirates type of event. It has counter up to one of your leader or character cards gains plus 3,000 power during this battle. Alright, 2-cost counter up to one of your leader or character cards gains plus 3,000 power during this battle. Then give up to one of your opponent's leader or character cards minus 2,000 power during this turn. That is awesome. So that is that's basically a 2-cost 5k, if you think about it. This is like Ikaku Sovereignty. And the trigger is up to one of your leader or character cards gains plus 1,000 power during this turn. That's always a nice trigger. But I have to say right now, that effect, it's actually potentially even better than Ikaku Sovereignty. In terms of, like, it can shut down 2 attacks. It's almost like a Hell's Judgment. I would actually look at it more as like a Hell's Judgment. Where it's like, okay, I'm going to pay 2. I'm going to go up 3,000 power to get out of like your 7,000 power attack or something like that. And then I'm going to drop your 6,000 power character down to a 4. Right? And that's for the turn. That power reduction is for the turn, but the plus 3,000 power is during the battle. So the bonus, the addition is for the battle, the subtraction is for the turn. Very, very powerful effect. I'm giving this like a 7.5 out of 10. This is a solid event. Maybe even closer to an 8 out of 10. Really big fan of this card. Okay, Divine Departure. This is a 1-cost 4 Emperors Red Hair Pirates character. Very, very cool looking art, by the way. Really big fan of this. And if I'm not mistaken, when there is no name right here, it's from the manga itself. The effect is, all right, so let's read what it does. The effect is main. You may rest 5 of your Dawn cards. Hang on. So it costs 1, and the main makes it cost 6. So it costs 1 main. You may rest you may rest 5 of your Dawn cards. So that looks like this: 6. KO up to one of your opponent's characters with 8,000 power or less. Okay, I think I see what's going on here. I have seen some spoilers. Spoiler warning. I think this is when Shanks fights Eustace Kid. Okay? Spoiler warning, like I said. And if that is accurate, if that is true, like judging by the picture here, that is what it looks like. And I think I have seen this card, guys, but again, when I see these cards for the first time, I don't always remember everything about them. But if that is true, this is an absolutely perfect card. So far, there's still another part here, the counter to read. So guys, this has a main and a counter. But guys, listen to this main effect. Rest 5 cards, or rest 5 Dawn, and pop an 8,000 power character. Can you guys think of a Eustace Kid that has 8,000 power? Me too. Yeah. It's the 8 cost 8K from Supernova, the green one, right? That would be perfect. So this ends up being a 6 cost way to remove a character like that from the board. Really, really powerful. Now, yeah, they'd still be able to save it with Rosinante, but still, the point is it does have that potential. And then it also has a counter of up to one of your leaders gains plus 3,000 power during this battle. Okay, so there is no downside to the card. So this is a 1 cost 3K on defense. On offense, it's a 6 cost pop an 8,000 power or less character. This is a 9.5 out of 10. I mean, there's just no downside. There is no reason to even play guard point. Okay, excuse me. There's one downside. It's a 9 out of 10 now, guys. It has no trigger. That is the one downside, but I think a lot of people are going to be able to deal with that. Whew. Guys, I love that effect. I will... Back to Red Yellow Sabo. I will be considering this for Red Yellow Sabo. This looks very, very strong. Again, just being able to pay 6 and pop an 8K, like, that's beautiful. We'll take that every single time. And then any extra cost reduction, or excuse me, any extra power reduction you can tack on there, man, this can reach pretty far. Because I'm thinking, okay, sorry guys, we do have to talk about Revo Army a little bit. But for 8 Dawn, right, because it'll be, this is 6 plus 2. I can pop any character in the game. Except Goldie Roger. Because, hear me out, for 8 Dawn, I can go Fire Fist minus 4,000 to your character, and then pay 6, pop an 8 or less. Well, if they were a 12,000 power character, minus 4 is 8, 8,000 or less, it's popping anything in the game other than a Goldie Roger. Guys, that's crazy. I'm a huge fan of this card. I'm giving it a 9 out of 10. I'd only go 9.5. This would potentially be a 10 out of 10 if it had a trigger. If it had a relevant trigger, I would probably give this card a 10 out of 10. And I don't, for those who know me and who have followed the channel for long enough, I never give a 10 out of 10. It would have to be the most busted card ever. I think the highest score I've ever given is like a 9 or a 9.5 out of 10. So if this card had a relevant trigger, this would be a 10 out of 10. But I'm still going to give it a 9 out of 10. This card's absolutely incredible. Buddy. Oh, buddy. Now that is awesome. Now this art right here, incredible. Is it the same art? It's not the same art. Wait, maybe it is. I'm going back and forth with it. Yeah, this is zoomed in. And that stupid sample thing is in the way. I can't see it. Yeah, it's like a zoomed in version of this art, I believe. Because, again, it doesn't have the name of the artist up here. So I think that means it's from the actual anime, from the manga or whatever. Okay. Love the... I'm a really big fan. So I believe... Someone correct me in the comment section if I'm off on this. But I believe this is the first, like, manga rarity, manga art or whatever for an event. We've seen it on characters, but not on events, and this looks absolutely incredible. I cannot wait to see this card in person. Like, I want to see the texturing and the foiling, because it's got gold. Do you guys see the gold in here? It's got gold in these rings, and then it's going to have white and red here with the black. Guys, absolutely, you know, chef's kiss, gorgeous art on this one. Okay, next up we have Gum Gum UFO. This is a 2-cost event, Punk Hazard Straw Hat Crew. The effect, excuse me. The effect is give up to one of your opponent's characters minus 4,000 power during this turn. Whoa, wait a minute. Okay. This is just like Fire Fist. All right, hang on. Main, give up to one of your opponent's characters minus 4,000 power during this turn. Then, if you have 2 or less life cards, up to one of your leaders or characters gains plus 1,000 power during this turn. Trigger, KO up to one of your opponent's characters with 3,000 power or less. I don't like that trigger. I think that trigger's too low. I think it should at least hit a 5K. But either way, that's fine. So the activate main there, or the effect, the main effect, give up to one of your opponent's characters minus 4,000 power for the turn. And then if you have two or less life cards, up to one of your leaders or characters gains plus 1,000 power during this turn. Actually, I take it back. I think the trigger should have been activate the main. Because that's like how Fire Fist is, right? And it'd be so nice if you could go minus 4,000 power to one of their characters for the turn, and then give your leader plus 1,000 power for the turn. Maybe that'd be a little too strong, because we did literally just see... excuse me. We just saw that, you know, standard triggers just plus 1,000 power for the turn. But hey, I'd be okay with that. I'd be okay with it just being plus 1,000 power for the turn instead of this KO effect. But anyway, whatever. You know, that's petty. But so as far as this effect goes, guys, I think this is very solid. And remember, guys, this is not a counter. This is a main. So give up to one of your opponent's characters minus 4,000 power. And then if you have 2 or less life, up to one of your leader or character cards gains plus 1,000 power for the turn. I like it. I'm a big fan of this. I'm a big fan of this card. I think it's really strong. It's a little bit situational, just like how Fire Fist is for the 2 or less life part. But 2 cost minus 4,000 power. That works just fine for me. I'm a big fan of that. Really solid card. I do like this quite a bit. I think this is a high utility card. I'm going to give it like an 8 out of 10. I think this is just a very high utility card. Excellent. Okay, and we got a stage, guys. We got a stage here. This is a 1-cost Punk Hazard stage. Activate main. You may rest this stage if your leader is Caesar Clown. Okay, so we are locked to Caesar Clown. Give up to 1 rested Dawn card to your leader or one of your characters. Wow. That's awesome. Well, that is really strong, guys. Giving it a... I mean, if your leader is Caesar Clown and you get this stage down early enough, think about it. Now you have, for the rest of the game, you have the ST01 Luffy's effect on your stage, and you still have your other leader effect. Great stage. I will give this an 8.5 out of 10. Really, really good stage. In Caesar Clown. In any other deck, then it's just a 0, right? But you would never run this in any other deck other than Caesar Clown. A deck with Caesar Clown as the leader. So, really good stuff. And that should be it, right? Okay, we got some alt arts we'll look at real quick. Okay, Art Newgate. This is the 7-cost AK that on play attaches to Dawn. Activate main pop of 5 or less. 5,000 power or less. Okay, and then it's back to that. Really cool. I like everybody, you know, everyone's got their ale. Got the mug. Very nice. Very cool. I'm not a huge fan of it. I'm not gonna lie. It's a little too bright and cheerful and joy, like too much joy in this picture. Not that there's anything wrong with joy, of course, but in this picture, when I think of, and I don't, hey, this is coming from someone who doesn't really watch the anime, right? I've seen up to the first 10 episodes, for those who are wondering. Everything else that I know about it is either from the game, from people telling me, or from the fandom, or from watching AMV, anime music video, like highlight videos. And sometimes I do watch spoiler videos and stuff like that, but I don't really care. But when I think of Whitebeard Pirates, of course, I go straight to Marineford, right? Spoiler warning. I go straight to Marineford. So I'm thinking of a serious, you know, this is a strong old man here. He's a beast. He's a veteran. But hey, even they have to have a good time every now and then, right? So really cool stuff here. All right, we're done with that. Let's go ahead and hop over to some games on the sim, guys. I'm done. I am done. We got a game on the sim here. We got 2 games on the sim, actually, because one of them was a very short game. All right, and you guys be sure to tell me what y'all think about some of these new cards coming out in OP10 for Punk Hazard. they look pretty strong. You know, they do look pretty strong. Okay, now, volume is off. Speed is on 2x. And here we go, guys. Can you guys see everything all right? Yep. So we got some Arlong action, guys. Arlong versus Dragon. Arlong has become one of my favorite off-meta decks. And Bello Betty. I would say Sabo, but that's S tier. That's top tier meta. No, I'm just kidding. But seriously, Sabo is too, of course. But Arlong and Bello Betty, I love how fast the games are. When I'm trying to just chill out and just play some quick games, pause real quick. So when I'm trying to just chill out and have fun on the sim and just play some quick games, my go-to is Arlong and Bello Betty. I absolutely love randomly just queuing those up and having fun with them. So how does Arlong work for any of the newer players out there? He has a effect. He has a, how do I say this? His leader effect is Dawn ×2, so swing for 7. When attacking, pay 1. So it's just like Blue Doflamingo, but instead of playing a card from the top of your deck, you're cheating out a character that costs 4 or less from your hand that has a trigger. So we swung for 7. We went first. We swung for 7 on turn 2 and cheat out a 4 cost 6k. Okay, and now it is Dragon's turn. Let's see what they do. They're going to swing for 5 first. I could greedily take this, but I think I'd rather use the 1k counter because I have 2 Nekomamushis anyway. Okay, swing for 5. We're going to take that. And now we're going to have to trash a card from hand. We're going to trash the Nekomamushi because I've got a real treat in store for this guy. I think we're going to swing 7, 7. Yep. We're going to swing 6, 7, 7, cheating out the Chew in hand, popping the Rusher. Okay, and we're on 2x speed, guys. This guy's just really trying to consider. He goes, oh no, 1k, 1k. Bad news for this guy. Swing 7, cheat out Chew, pop the Kid Killer. And it's at the point now where this guy is feeling very, very hopeless, right? Very, very depressed. And he just actually quits. I'm not saying you should quit that early because he still had other things. He had double Rad Beam turned on. He had Bello Betty. He had the Ivankov, but he did get bricked up with those 3 10 costs. That's too many to run of that card anyway. If I were to run the 10 cost Luffy, I'd run it as a 1 of or a 2 of maximum. 3 is too many. So I think they should probably modify their deck ever so slightly. Okay, that was one game we had to add just to kind of show how explosive Arlong could be. Now this next game is a much closer game, and it is it's actually quite the banger in my personal opinion. We got a game of Green Yellow Arlong versus Blurple Croc. Okay, y'all watch this game, guys. This is pretty interesting. We're going to swing for 7, cheat out the Kikinojo. That's my absolute favorite play with this deck. Just going straight in for 7 here, cheating out Kikinojo, potentially getting value in that way. They're going to 0 cost 3k to get out of that, but they did not have a Dawn attached to their leader, so they couldn't draw a card. Blurple Croc has the ability, if you have 4 or less cards in hand, and you use an event, you activate an event with one Dawn attached to your leader, you get to draw a card. Okay, so they Sobbles and push the card back to my hand. Okay, sure, no problem. We'll just swing it for 9 this time and cheat it back out, because they didn't develop anything either. They're just trying to slow me down. It doesn't really slow me down. I guess it does a little bit, but not really. So now they're down to 3 life. They have 6 Dawn this turn. Let's see what they choose to do with it. Arlong in my hand is actually going to be very, very relevant here. Okay, so I get the Nami. I'm just going to go ahead and use the trigger to pop the 2-cost character. It's whatever. It's not a big deal. I could have saved it as a 1k counter or as a way to get Banish, but I don't think that's as relevant. At least not in this situation. All right, so we're going to attach 1 Dawn here. We're going to swing for 6. So I play out the Bonnie, attach a Dawn. If I deal damage to them, then I get to draw 2 trash 1. We're going to swing for 7, cheating out the Arlong, trashing the other Arlong, making it where their leader cannot attack next turn. Okay, so they're going to attach 1 Dawn to their leader regardless, so they get access to their effect to draw cards. But what is he going to do now? So now he's in quite the predicament now, guys. He's in quite the predicament. Okay, so they're going to use the event there to basically draw 2 cards because they attached a Dawn to their leader. They went down to 3 cards, drew a card for the effect, and drew a card for the leader effect as well. They play out a Mr. 1 Daw's Bones. Okay, what just happened there? Oh, draw 2 trash when they trash a Gum Gum Red Rock. They're going to swing for 5. We 1k counter out. So in this situation here, that Daw's Bones is actually very annoying, but I want to get this card out of their life for free right here with my Nico Robin. And now that's going to let me draw 2 trash 1 with my Bonnie effect. And now I'm going to swing 5 into 5. And now it's time to kind of just eat cards up out of their hand. 5 into 5. Again, guys, I'm just going to keep swinging. Nothing's going to stop. Okay, 6 into 5. They let it go. So now I try to like get greedy here by playing this out with Banish, but they actually had it. Their last card was a 0-cost 3K. Seems good. But now they're in top deck mode. They drew 1 card for the turn. They drew 1 card from last turn from the effect. 7 into Jewelry Bonnie, you can have that. They're going to go 9 into 6, you can have that. And this guy is huge now. This Dawes Bones is massive. He attacks in the Kikinojo, I get to draw a card from that, and here we go. My turn. We're in a tough spot, to be honest, guys. We're in a tough situation here if we can't start closing the game out soon, and they still have 2 life left, and they have a blocker. Okay, 5 into 5. They actually take it. They get a Missile Sunday trigger. Seems good. Seems good. Okay. Now, remember, guys, they still have to go through 4 of my life, and I'm running 38 triggers, or 48 triggers, excuse me, like 45, 48 triggers, something ridiculous. Maybe 50. Maybe 50 triggers. Okay, so right here we're going to swing for 7. Leader effect. Or no leader effect, excuse me, because I have to play out the Nami here. Okay, they get a Miss Valentine. They get an Oh Come My Way with that Miss Valentine search. We're going to play out the Nami, trashing a 2K counter to pop their biggest character. And now they have 0 life. They have to play, you know, responsibly here. They have to be very, very careful. Okay, they have to put down a blocker, right? Actually, no, they don't. They do not have to put down a blocker because they have an Oh Come My Way. So we're going to pop that with the Chew. They're going to swing for 6. We're taking all this, guys. Oh, what do you know? Trigger? This guy must think I'm really lucky. It's like, no, dude. Every single card in my deck is a trigger. And we'll talk about that in a minute. Okay, they just give up. They did still have an Oh Come My Way. But what I was going to do is I think I was going to swing 9, swing 9, swing 9. Or something like, or something along those lines was my goal. Honestly, looking back, I was going to do that incorrectly. Because what I should have done was swing 5 with Chew, swing 5 with Hatchan, and then I still have, with 2, 3, I'd have 7 Dawn left. So then it would be, so yeah, it would be swing 5, 5, and then that, the next 2 attacks have to make it through. So with Cracker, with 7 Dawn left, I could go 3 and 4, so I could swing 8, swing 9. And if that doesn't get through, then he's got me. It's that simple. Okay, let's check out the deck list, guys, and finish out the video. So this is the list that I was running. Let me remove this. So I did make some revisions for OP09. Okay, Arlong is the leader. Pause and read this if you don't know what it does. I'm still running 4 Karubis. I'm running 4 Chew. I'm running 4 of the 2K counter Hatchan. I'm running 3 Arlong, 4 Cracker, 4 Sanji, 4 Satori, 2 Nami, 4 Kikinojo, 3 Nekomamushi, 2 Frankie. I went down 2 Frankies, I think, to go up. I'm not sure. But I do think I originally had 4 Frankies in here. I think I've gone down to 2. But whatever the case is, you know, this is meant to be more of a glass cannon build, guys. That's why there's only, you know, 4 Satoris, 2 Frankies in the entire... That's all the 2K counters in the whole list. Because we do want to take damage pretty early on and start going about things that way. But then we're running 3 Jory Bonnies, 3 Namis, 2 Nico Robin, and 4 Jaguar Desal. Now, this trigger does not work with the leader. Like, we can't trigger him into play. However, we can use the trigger in this case. Well, in either the Nami case or the Arlong. So, in other words, with the leader's effect, if I attach 2 and pay 1, so, you know, 3 Dawn investment, right? Swing for 7, pay 1. I can play up to 1 character card with a cost of 4 or less with trigger from my hand. So I can still cheat him into play with my leader's effect, just not from my actual life triggers. And with Nami, of course, you know, you may trash 1 card with a trigger from your hand and KO a 5 or less, a character that costs 5 or less. If y'all hear my stomach rumbling, my apologies, guys. I'm just getting hungry. And then if I have 3 less cards in hand, I get to draw a card. And this is a 3 cost 5K blocker. So this card is actually, it's actually really, really strong. The only downside to this card is if I get this from a trigger. Now, if I get Nico Robin from a trigger, then I can cheat out Jaguar Desal if it's in my hand. So there is some synergy there. Same thing with Bonnie. Same thing with Nami if I just need a body on the board. But the main thing is this. it's a trigger that I can recycle with Nami or the leader effect. I can just throw it out, right? Or if I just don't need it, and it doesn't have a 1K counter, so if I don't need it, okay, we'll just trash it with like Arlong, Cracker, Sanji, or Satori's effect. Just trash it as part of their effect, or like I was saying with the Nami effect or the Arlong effect. Not their effect, excuse me, Cracker, Sanji, and Satori's trigger effect. So that's pretty much it, guys. This is the list. You guys tell me what y'all think. Do you like the Jaguar D Saw or do you not? The other option that I was messing around with was Karasu, the new Karasu in OP09. Did I say OP10 earlier, guys, for this list? This is obviously meant for OP09. This is the other option that I was considering. Again, neither of these, the Karasu or the Jaguar D Sol, you're not triggering them into play. This requires your leader to be Nico Robin. This requires your leader to be Revo Army. So you're not getting them into play ever. Not from the trigger. But you can cheat both of them in with Nico Robins. You can recycle either of them into the field with Arlong or Nami. You know, into the field with Arlong or cycle it with Nami for the effect. Or, here's the other thing. What is more valuable to you in this situation? Would you rather have a 3-cost 4K blocker with a 1K counter? Or would you rather have a 3-cost 5K blocker with no counter? That's basically what it comes down to. I am running very low counter in this deck as far as like, I'm running 2 2K counters here and 4 here. I'm running 6 2K counters, guys. So it's going to come down to what your preference is. I just prefer the bigger body in this situation. It's a 3-cost 5K I could cheat out with the leader effect or with Nico Robin's trigger effect if I ever get that. But this has the 1K counter extra utility. It's totally up to you guys. Tell me what y'all think in the comment section below. But other than that, guys, yeah, this is a 50 trigger deck. There are 50 triggers in this deck. The only cards that I think I would consider running that do not have triggers currently, the only characters I would consider running that are not triggers is something like Hody Jones. That might be it, guys. I mean, that might literally be it, is Hody Jones. And then eventually, once we get to OP10, maybe consider running Eustace Kid, because then I could just crack their life with this guy. It is what it is. I know it doesn't have a trigger on it at all. You know, like, it doesn't have a trigger on it at all. But at the same time, this card comes into play, cracks their life, and says, okay, I'm going to start cycling cards from my hand, and I have an 8-cost 9K on the board. So, all right, we're done. All right, hope you guys enjoyed. Please do not forget to like and subscribe. Real quick, big shout out to everybody who supports the channel. Guys, whether you're liking, subscribing, sharing, commenting, viewing, whatever you're doing, I really appreciate it. Big shout out to everybody over here on the VV Pirates Playmat supporter page. Hope you guys are enjoying your playmats. And last but not least, of course, the patrons. Thank you guys so much for donating, just trying to help out, just trying to support me, keeping the dream alive. I really appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. All right, I'm done. Hope y'all enjoy. Tonight is going to be a lot of pre-releases, I'm sure. So please be careful. Please have fun, okay, at your pre-releases. All right. Until next time, guys. Peace.